absolutely nothing has changed, and Biden was very right. Oh, and you were you were talking about line 3 before the show.
Yeah.
Uh, well, so Dakota Access Pipeline is still going, and Biden hasn't rescinded the permit for that, right? So that's a carryover from Obama, all the way through Trump, and Biden's like, oh well, we'll let that go. We'll let that keep going. He's allowing drilling in Alaska. Uh, Line 3 is happening, which it looks like it's going to be another Dakota Access Pipeline scenario. And I don't know. I don't understand how Democrats can operate with such cognitive dissonance, right? Like, uh, it just seems like all the things that Biden is doing that maybe Trump did are just, it's totally fine because it's Biden, right?
Mm.
And but when Trump was doing them, it was the end of democracy. So I don't know, or the
Just
end of,
because
that's it on climate change. Like, oh my God, we're
Biden
uh,
being like being nicer than Trump just makes climate change not as bad.
it
It
does,
just
right?
magically improves the environment. Just the way that Biden talks, he talks better than Trump, so things get better
Right,
in our environment just because of that. that's
right.
I feel like that's just what they think. Um,
I think so. I mean, what was I reading the other day? Oh, just like yesterday, there's a whole lot of like nepotism going on in the Biden administration, right? There's like all the people that work in the administration, like all their kids are in on the staff, and so they're saying like it's kind of the same thing Trump was doing, right? Like, but it's fine because it's Biden, right? Like it's fine, and nobody's paying attention anyways because it's not being blared from head, all day long on MSNBC. Oh my God, it's rampant nepotism in the Biden administration. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Oh, he's so corrupt. Like nobody's saying that. Nobody's shouting that from the rooftops. So
Nobody's shouting about Hunter Biden, like, and the
no,
horrible shit that he did.
no, no.
Like all that stuff has like leaked, like with his niece and everything. Is that's
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
disgusting. But yeah, speaking about line 3, that was a beautiful transition that you did in bringing that up about how things aren't changing, like from the Trump to the Biden administration, and you said that this is the new Dakota Access Pipeline, which the Dakota Access Pipeline situation is still happening. Here's an article from The Guardian, which you also talked about on your show. It's called "We Will Not Stop: Pipeline Opponents Ready for America's Biggest Environmental Fight." Um, so the article starts by talking about, as the sun set, more than a dozen young people carried a wooden bridge toward a narrow section of the Mississippi River. The bridge allowed the group to cross more easily from their camp to where the immense oil pipeline was being built on the other side. They were cited for trespassing, but they had symbolically laid claim to the marshy landscape. That same day, Dawn Goodwin's voice was soft but forceful as she spoke into the camera. I'm calling on you, Joe Biden, to uphold our treaties because they are the supreme law of the land. Goodwin, an Ojibwe woman and environmental activist, was recording a live stream from a picturesque campsite amid northern Minnesota's natural beauty, where she and a dozen of others had come together to protest the construction of the Line 3 pipeline, which I've talked about on this show back in late January. And I was trying to get some more people on the show to talk about this, but unfortunately I didn't hear back. But there is footage here that I want to show people about what's happening on the ground. This is from Unicorn Riot, which I do recommend people check out on YouTube. They post a lot of videos of things happening on the ground, just like the Convo Couch does. So they're over there right now. They have people over at northern Minnesota showing people trying to stop Line 3 from happening. So I'm just going to play a little bit of the footage here, and then I can hear from your comments, Kevin.
All right.
Like an intro narration. Okay.
Their whatever names they're comfortable with.
I'm live right now too, just so everyone knows.
I would step away if you're gonna give legal names, What
Yeah, those-
you?
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
No, I didn't run into that.
Alright, so they're showing police there.
So what I.
Of open exposed area here, the heat, the sun is very hot. Everyone's kind of, losing fluids and minerals. And so around 3, a bunch of police came in from over here, took over this area, made several arrests. They've cleared most of the people out of the area. They've made, I would say, several dozen arrests in here. The remaining people are either up on top of this equipment, or there's several people who are locked down to machinery as well. So our stream went down, did our best to bring it back up as soon as we can. Kind of like have the monopod janked up to try to get a good view over their fence here. We're gonna try to show you the process of them removing the rest of the people who were locked down. So yeah, thanks for bearing with us. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, so there's people that are locked onto the machines, like the bulldozers. There's police out there, of course. They're defending Line 3, the pipeline. And the protesters are trying to stop it.
Yep.
And again, this is on sacred Native American land. What's different? It's very similar to what happened with the Dakota Access Pipeline. Then there's also Colonial Pipeline. That's still happening also, which I've talked about on this show with Robbie Yeager. Yeah, Kevin, what are your thoughts on all this?
Did you see the footage of the helicopter?
Yeah, I saw
That
the
was
footage.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if this video has it too, but that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see this. I don't know how this is going to be resolved, but it looks like they're digging in. Because at the end of the day, again, like the system as it's set up needs to go on, needs to continue, right? And they're gonna, the pipeline builders and the tree cutters and the miners and the fossil fuel drillers, like they're gonna get precedence over anything that's happening, right? The courts and the politicians and the people in power are going to side with these people, right? They're going to do everything they can to make sure that they keep doing what they're doing. And what's going to happen with Line 3 is that, they don't want to shut it down. They're not looking to shut it down. They're going to fight shutting it down. And maybe, maybe it's a good thing that this escalates, so that people, Dakota Access was a pretty big flashpoint, for the environmental movement and for people to understand what was going on. I mean, it was such a huge issue, and kind of started the beginning of people questioning Obama as like a great president,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, because he just completely fumbled that and tried to not, get involved and try, but I mean, there was just some really horrible stuff happening that he allowed
People
to happen.
getting
And I think
hit with the
that
fire
same thing is gonna
hoses,
happen
right?
with Biden. Huh?
People getting hit with the fire hoses. People getting like their
Oh yeah.
like
People lost limbs and
Yeah.
eyes and digits, and they were getting brutalized. And I mean, you had thousands of people coming from all over the country, and you had kind of bigger named politicians going there. Tulsi Gabbard showed up, and
celebrities.
so yeah, celebrities were showing up. It became a very big thing, and something that I remember being talked about on social media kind of every day for months at the time. This hasn't really gotten the same traction yet. It's starting to a little bit, but again, like, people aren't covering environmental issues, and social media is becoming a more difficult place for people to talk about political issues going on. But I foresee this being a pretty big pretty big kind of showdown, because I don't think the protesters are going to give up and go anywhere.
And
And
I think when some of the channels that do talk about it, they only talk about it for like once for like a 7-minute video, and then the next time
Right.
they talk about it is months later, which I'm kind of guilty of that too. I haven't talked about line 3 since January, like late January. I should be talking about this more, and I will. I might even make a trip. I'm down to do something like that to show what's happening on the ground. And you brought up like what happened with the helicopter. I managed to find footage of that. So right here on Twitter, let me zoom in for people so that they can see. But yeah, they're using helicopters here as a weapon against protesters, because in this country, corporations matter more than people. They matter more than the environment. Because what happens with these pipelines, like if it spills and it damages the environment, that can affect our health also.
yep.
So let me just play that.
I mean,
real quick for
imagine if
people.
Trump did this.
Exactly, yeah. So
Right.
yeah, here I'm showing here the helicopter. It's like blowing all this dust on people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think actually something like this happened last year during the riots, right? There was some protesters near the Capitol, and they brought a helicopter down, like really low, to get rid of the protesters, and people were like, "Oh my God!" But I haven't really seen too many people outside of Twitter, Twitter politics. I haven't seen too many people talking about this.
I'm gonna save this tweet so I can write something about it later. That is insane.
It's totally insane.
But yeah, like you said, imagine if it was Trump, right?
Yeah, people would be losing their minds. Oh my God.